Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon or good evening or good morning. I don't know, but hello, everybody. It is I, Michael Brody, with another Michael Brody MindSight Hypnosis right here on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. And if you're listening right now, we would love everybody to sign in. Tell me who's here and who's not right here on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. And of course, we have one of our first people here is Dennis Ridgway. Hi, Dennis. Glad to see you. And once again, I need to pay Dennis 10% of everything that I make out of this. Why? Because he constantly is my promoter, which is very, very impressive. And I have to give Felicia right over here, who is also here, another one of my 10% because she's also always here every single year, and I appreciate it. Hi there, everybody. It's great to see everybody right here on Monday, March 4th, and we have a doozy of a show. Most of the time, as you can see by the beginning of my show, my intro, you notice that most of the time it's called zany and goofy and silly and all these interesting other things. But here today it's going to be just a little bit different, just a little bit different. It's going to be more on the serious side and talking about well, if you saw my teaser for the show, it is the other side of the stage. And we also have my friend Jerry is in the house. Hey, Jerry, good to see you. I'm glad you've decided to come and watch this. I'm very honored to have the husband and wife team of the Paladinos. Fantastic. I'm honored to have you guys here. So I want you to know that this is going to be a very interesting half hour. And I do know, and I'm very honored to say that there are some other hypnotists that see this as on replay, and I'm glad to share this with them too. All about what is going down with Michael Brody. So first of all, as we always start out with, let's talk about things that have been recent and things that are coming up. So first of all, today or Saturday, I did a show at Walled Lake Central for their volleyball marathon, and it was very interesting. It was very interesting. That's going to be actually the topic of our show today. And I'll tell you all about it. I'll tell you all about it when we get there. Also in the house is my good friend, Paulette St. Louis. You're in the house, so thank you very much for being here, little Paulette. I love when you're here, and thank you very much for being here on this very interesting and sensitive situation right here. Dennis, who is this? Dennis owes us all money for stirring up stuff. That's right, Dennis. So start making sure you save up for that money. So there is, I also have a show coming up, which is a show that I do actually twice a year. I do it twice a year on the other side of the state. It's called Granville High School, and that's coming up this Friday. So it's coming up for Friday. I'm looking forward to doing that show. The Facebook user is my friend Colin. Colin Chapman is here. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks, Colin. If you want to keep your name hidden, that's fine. Or you can just hit the link below, and we'll all know that it's Colin Chapman, world famous Colin Chapman. And I gave Colin a little bit of understanding what's going on. We have he also says exactly who you want in the room when dealing with sensitive topics. It's okay. I'm a very one of the things you're going to learn about me, Colin, is I'm a very, very open person. And yes, this is going to be a sensitive topic. Normally, it's not. Usually it's a lot of fluff, and I guarantee you, we will have some comic relief in this show too. But I do want to start out with what happened on Saturday. So let me talk about it. Oh, we have another person here. We have a fan from Ireland. It's Rory. So, Rory, thank you for coming and thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Rory, question for you: are you a hypnotist? I would be very, very interested to know that. Or are you just a aficionado like a lot of people here? And that would be wonderful too. But this subject that I'm going to talk about is called the other side of the stage, and the other side of the stage um, usually works out normally as I have to explain it to you. Usually, I have a wonderful crowd, and they're very responsive to my show, and they want to see my show and stuff like that, and it works quite well. The circumstance with the show that I did on Saturday was for a high school volleyball charity um, uh, uh, sponsored. It's a charity sponsored event, so they were raising money for the homeless. And they invite me. This is like the sixth or seventh time that I've been there. So every year, so I've been there before. But what was very interesting about this segment was very unique because they let in. I had there was about 400 students there from ninth through 12th grade, and what they're supposed to do is they play volleyball and they raise money for the homeless. And I was supposed to be. I am their entertainment. So in the middle of the night, because they do it the whole night. My performance time was at 2 a.m. And because it was a charity, and because I've been doing it for a long time, I decided, and I've always done this with them. I said um, I was going to ask for half of what I normally ask for, and they really appreciate it. And I say that that probably it goes to a little bit more money for the charity. Well, they let they as in the parents who were running it let in the students about 15 to 20 minutes before I was supposed to go on, and I wasn't ready yet. I was doing sound check. I was finishing up, getting things ready, and so they were rowdy coming in, and which usually gave me an interesting sign that tells me, a little warning flag says, okay, these kids are here without parent chaperone, and I'm finishing setting up. Something is interesting, that's new, that's never happened before. So I asked the student representative that I usually see. I asked her to if she could get the sponsor, and she said that the sponsor was not there. That the sponsor is a teacher, um, and she wasn't there that night. In fact, not a lot of. In fact, a lot of the parents didn't show. A lot of the parent chaperones didn't show. So I asked her. I asked the student volunteer. I said, "Well, how many chaperones are coming to see the show?" And usually, what happens is we have all 400 kids see the show, and so we had all 400 kids see the show. And I counted by the time I actually started, I counted two adults. So we have two adults with 400 students. And usually what I do is I talk to the adults ahead of time and I tell them, well, if there is a little rowdiness, it's your responsibility to please, get them, squash that up. Please don't let them do that. Okay. So the parents who were there sat in the middle of the 400 students, and so there were a whole bunch of students up in the balcony and just all over the place. Well, they as the show started, they were whistling, and they were it was a little chaotic, and it was a little bit. I knew again some flags are going here, and I'm not sure what's going on. I get something from Rory saying that I've been hypnotized online a lot over the last few years and practiced with some people over the years. Okay, good. So Rory, this will be interesting for you too. So the situation is that as I started doing my introduction, now as all hypnotists know, all comedy hypnotists know, we want our intro to be very, very short, to the and basically more of an intro to get people pumped up and really wanting to participate. And that's what I was doing. But those kids were just acting a little bit too rowdy, and not just from the back, but also from the front. And they started throwing. Well, they didn't throw it yet, so I have to back up. And you're going, what did they throw? What did they throw? Well, the situation is I got 15 people up there. Some of the people in the audience, some of the kids in the audience were not very happy about that they didn't get picked. So they started throwing cups at me on the stage. And so, which was not part of the norm, and that normally doesn't happen. So I'm trying to get the students to calm down, and situations like that, and they weren't. So I tried to. So I was trying to. I basically said, the longer you disrupt the show, the shorter the show gets, and all of a sudden everybody was very, very quiet and stuff like that. And I did get people under. But as I was getting people under, and there was just a whole bunch of rude students in the back, just yelling and screaming, and I'm trying to point to the parents to tell them to please, if you could. And of course, what happened was they just sat there and did nothing. So me being a good hypnotist, trying to squash this whole situation, I basically said to the people, I said, listen, I'd love to do a show for you, but I'm having a very hard time, and stuff like that. And I kept saying, please, let's have some fun and let's get some people under. And they were having a hard time at this. Paulette says, who do I need to beat up? Well, I think you'd have to fall in line with my sister Felicia too. So, and it was incredibly frustrating. It was incredibly frustrating. And that's what Rory says. Rory says it's incredibly frustrating, and it really was. But basically, so I said, parents, if you could, if they're having a problem, could you please escort them out? Now, I normally don't want to do that because then it makes me the bad guy, and I'm trying not to do that. But what did work was basically saying to the audience, which was slowly but surely getting more rowdy, all because of 10 kids, getting everybody rowdy. What I basically said is I stopped. They were these people. I had 15 people under. They were under, so they were just snoozing along. They were just they were out, but everybody else was just joking around. So I basically said, I know that we're here for a good cause. And I know that we're here for the homeless, and we're here to, raise money for the homeless. And you're volunteering your hours. And I think that's amazing. And you can hear a pin drop. And I said, so am I. I said, I'm doing this for a good cause. And all of a sudden you could hear a pin drop. And then slowly but surely you could see the students from the front turn around to the students in the back who were making problems. And then all of a sudden everything was very quiet. So I continued my show. and everything was working fine. But so I squashed, yeah, and that's something you have to do. You have to squash that snowball effect. Um, and it was just not it wasn't a pretty sight. It wasn't a pretty sight, but it gets worse. So I'll tell you in a second why. So I'm doing my show, and as I'm finishing up the last part of the show, people are starting to leave. In fact, it was from the back of the auditorium, and then people started to leave, and which is incredibly rude. So they were leaving, and so I had to cut my show shorter because people were starting to leave and interrupt and everything. So I cut my show shorter and got people out, and that was the end of the show. It ended not exactly the way I wanted to on a high note, but it did end. And I was not. I told the student representative that I wasn't really pleased with this, and this is not a good idea to do this, and not a great idea to get me to come back. I'm not real impressed to come back for situations like that. After all, I'm giving my time too, and they agreed, and they said that the sponsor would call me. Now, this is probably will call me probably tomorrow about this, because this happened, like I said, last Saturday. But the situation is, I've been doing this for 30 something years, 33 years. I've had I've had audiences kind of like this, but not really as bad as what I saw here. Um, and I've trust me, I've been to schools that are pretty rowdy about that. But I kind of thought about this after a while and figured out why this was happening. Um, why did this happen? Well, I figured that the students that were doing it were probably in the probably either obviously 12th grade or younger. The first year of COVID, and when everything shut down, was in 2020. So 2021, they all started coming back. But as they came back, and as I talked to other teachers about this, they found that the students were very, very immature, about 2 years behind immature. And it's been like that for the last couple of years. Now, those people who were in two years ago, who were in 10th grade, are now in 12th grade, but they still have a 10th and ninth grade maturity level. And that's one of the reasons why I think that has happened. What does Paulette say? Paulette says those in back were probably trying to sneak out and smoke a doobie. Yeah, I would only hope that would be true. But they weren't. They weren't. But the thing is that I could let that disappoint me, or I could let that and have that a mark on me, or I could just slough it off with something that has just happened and start and just be optimistic. And I choose to be optimistic. I am optimistic. I'm a person who believes in people. And I do know if they ask me this again, of course, I'm going to ask for more money. There'll be a reason for that now. And but it was a emotional kind of situation that happened. I really didn't like it as it was going on. And we all have that kind of situations. Sometimes we have those situations, and we have either a fight or flight kind of situation. And you either fight it or you fly away from it. If you're a seasoned hypnotist, you always fight for it. You fight it back. You fight. It's not control, because you're being an entertainer. Being an entertainer, you demand, especially you being on the stage by yourself in front of hundreds of people. It demands that you take a certain control of the stage. And when the students do that, that's when you lose it. So my suggestion to you is if you're a newbie at being a comedy hypnotist, my suggestion is to always, and again, my friend Colin Chapman, him and I were talking this afternoon. He called me up, and he's right. Always have something, a backup plan. Always be that one step ahead. Think one step ahead. What if situations, and always be ready on your toes. That's the key to the whole thing. So that's what I wanted to tell you about. It was a very interesting situation, very, very weird. But we do have some interesting things going on. I do have a special request for Felicia and Dennis out there. We have let's see if I can. Oh yes, I have a very special person to show you about. She has been on hiatus and hasn't been here for a little bit, and here she is right here. It is our weather forecaster. Here is.
Hello, it is Ira Fixation. But my friends call me eye fixation. Why? Because I like to look at people's eyes. And now for the weather around the country. 54, 51, 22, 91, 47. You can figure out what city everyone is from. Good luck! Also, the weather will be snowy, rainy, haily, and other fun things too. Now that is just for my area, all in the process of 24 hours. That's Michigan for you. Back to you, Michael, in the studio.
Okay, well, that's Ira for you, and whoever created her is one sick person. I don't know. Also, we have I get something from Rory here. Rory says, could you please demo some of your rapid induction over the stream? I would do that. I would do that, Rory. The only problem is I don't have anybody here to do that with. I do have some videos on it. I will tell you this. I'm not going to be here next week because I'm going to do a show at the same time next week on Monday. So, but the Monday after that, I will be glad to show you a video on that on rapid inductions. We'll be glad to do that. And well, you never know. We might just be able to, if we ever get some guest stars here, maybe we can do that too. So I also have a video I wanted to show you guys of some famous athletes, hypnotized athletes. And this young person here was a hypnotized athlete, and we're honored to bring this person here. He is the world famous sumo wrestler. Here he is right here. This person right here. When you open your eyes, you realize that you are the greatest actor in the world. Being the greatest actor in the world, not only do you act the part, you think you are the part. In fact, on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes and realize that you are the world's greatest sumo wrestler. The world's greatest sumo wrestler. Not only do you act the part, you speak sumo talk. You speak sumo talk. That's how you talk. And you walk like a sumo wrestler. And you speak like sumo. And you are here to challenge one person in the audience for the world's greatest sumo wrestling championship. On the count of 3, it's only this person I'm tapping. You're going to open your eyes and stand up, and we're going to talk. On the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3, open your eyes. Oh my gosh, here he is, the world's greatest sumo wrestler. Here he is. Come forward, please. You and I are going to have to, whoa. Face that way, sir. Face that way. Okay. Sir, I need to find out what your name is. Your name is? Whoa! And where are you from? Okay, fine. And could you tell me a little bit about your outfit, your sumo outfit? Okay, is it drafty? Okay, interesting. Now I know you're here for a sumo wrestling championship. I have seen your matches. Your pre-show ritual is very, very impressive. When you have this pre-show ritual, you walk up to your opponent and scream that primal scream that scares everybody. We want to hear what that scream sounds like. On the count of 3, scream it. 1, 2, 3, go! Okay. Very good. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go to someone here and pick the most scariest person to challenge you. On the count of 3, you're going to walk to the sumo wrestler. You're just going to tap them, and they're going to come up here. Go. There you go. Wow, that was quick. Okay, come up here. Right over here, sir. Right over here, sir. Go right here. Now, whatever happens, stay right there. Don't move. Now look at him. The death in your eyes. And you are going to walk like a sumo wrestler walks. You are going to go right up to him and scream. That sumo wrestler scream. And the minute you do, you're not a sumo wrestler anymore. You don't know what's going on. On the count of 3, here comes 1, 2, 3, walk it. Scream it! Ah! What are you doing? What are you doing? Sit down. I'm sorry. Sir, you want to be hypnotized? Yeah? Yeah? Look at me. Eyes closed. Release the relax. And there we go. All right. So anyway, that was one of our famous Olympic sumo wrestlers. Very honored to have him there. Anyways, it looks like our time is just about up because it is half an hour. I will not be here. Thank you very much. Thanks, Paulette. I will not be here next week, but I will be here the following week after that. So I hope you can come and visit us on the next MindSight Hypnosis. We're going to have a lot of fun. Brings back a whole bunch of people. So until then, please remember all these different things. If you have any comments, please feel free to give the comments. Share this with friends. We'll be on live stream. We'll be live streaming YouTube Live and Facebook Live. So we'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. Take care and hasta Luigi.